Hey everybody, Forbes Riley here, and yes, it's the tropical trim down. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about values. That be okay? So I learned this the hard way. I was in a class and they had us write down our 10 values, things that are really important to you. So I'll give you a hint because I'm going to ask you to get out a piece of paper and write down yours. You could do contribution, you could do family, you could value fame, you could value money, you could value health, you can value all kinds of things. I had a long list. And then you look at it, right? So, I mean, imagine, so I'm an actress, right? Or at least I was, a TV host. And I think the thing that I wrote down first was significance. Yeah, actually fame. I valued, that's what I don't know, that's what I wanted. Okay. I think family was second, kids. And down number 11, I finally got to all the values I was thinking about, things that are important to me, and I got to health. Well, the instructor said, look at your list. And I guess he had gone through the same thing, where health was not number one until he lost it. Yeah. So you can imagine what I did. So health is number one now. Some days kids are up there, number two or number three. But what do you value? It's a very interesting exercise to look at what your values are. And then, and here's the tricky fun part, is you look at what your criteria for your values are. And this was the biggest lesson that I am going to share with you that I think radically changed my perception of things. The difference between and or. So when I got to being a mom, right, and having a family and having kids, what is it, I know if I'm a good mom if I call my kids, if I do their laundry, if I give them a kiss, if I, take them to school, if I register them for classes, all those things that and, if I say goodnight to them when I'm traveling, and all those crazy things. Well, the problem with that is the and is you can't do them all. So you're constantly thinking that you're a bad mom or you're guilty, right? What if you substituted the and for an or? And then my list read, I'm a good mom if I call my kids, or I see a picture of them on my screensaver, or I tell a story about my children, or I write them a letter, or I take them on vacation, or. Guess what? I pretty much do at least one of those. Come on, I do 2 or 3 of them every day. So when it comes to health, you can't, I'm healthy if I go to the gym and I eat right, and I exercise, and I breathe, and I meditate, and I do. Oh my gosh. So then you're all obsessed with how healthy you are. What if you add an or? So I'm healthy if I eat 3 vegetables a day, or I go to the gym, or I SpinGym. I know, that's an easy one to do, right? Or I get a massage, or I meditate, or I hang out with Forbes Riley and listen to something that she inspires me to do, or. And so those things become a whole lot simpler to do because the truth is you can't do it all. But when you give yourself credit, it starts to add up. You start to feel better about everything and about your life. Then on the other side of that, you talk about the anti-value. What do you go away from? So you have towards values and away from values. So again, one of my biggest issues that I learned, and I'll share this with you because it was eye-opening to me, was that significance and fame, that was a little while ago, was most important to me, at least I thought it was, especially when you're an actress and you're auditioning all the time. But my biggest fear, my biggest away from, was rejection. Uh-oh, if you want to be famous and you audition all the time and you're always rejected, you're going to be miserable, and guess what? I was making myself miserable. And then you create new rules for the rejection part, or the away values, and you take people's power away from them. It used to be I got rejected or I felt rejected if somebody didn't like me. Well, that's actually irrelevant, isn't it? As long as I get up there and tried and gave it my best. You can't make people like you. That was a huge lesson for me. You can't make people do a lot of things. So it's very hard to base your values on, let's see, what's another way? So rejection or shame or embarrassment or feeling foolish or feeling less than. What we do, unfortunately, is we assign this to a lot of other people. And I will tell you the big secret is to find you. Yeah. And I started the whole I Am Enough tour and concept because, well, here's the deal. You're never enough. Sorry. You're never pretty enough. You're never thin enough. You're never rich enough. You're never young enough. You're never anything enough. You're just not. So if you're not, then how can you say I'm enough? Well, see, there's the secret. And what happens is you come to a sense of peace, that how I look right now is enough. This is my hair, this is my face, this is what I look like at my age, and okay. And if you don't like some of those things, you change them. It's why I get facials, it's why I go to the dentist, it's why I wore braces for 8 years. It's why I go to the gym, because I like to look good in a bathing suit. I'm actually in a swimsuit. And I will tell you, for a little while there, I was letting that go. I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I'm spin gymming. But even then, when you work and you're building a company, you tend to forget about you, right? Especially when you're a mom. And I looked in the mirror and thought, there's some things are sagging. So rather than say, oh, that's terrible or I hate my body, I just reevaluated what I needed to do. And so I needed to go back to teaching class for SpinGym. I needed to do it, every 2 hours like I tell other people to do. I do love to go to the gym. I have exercise ADD. I love to go roller skating or ride a bike or maybe a spinning class. I'm not very good with routine, so, that's kind of what I preach. So I think so many of us are not. There's certainly some fanatics who are, God love them, they get up every day and they do it. For the rest of us humans, life gets in the way. So I've tried to create programs. Scratch that. I haven't tried. I have. Catch your languaging. I've created programs that allow for spontaneity, that allow for flexibility, that allow for joy. They don't allow for you beating yourself up. So many things are designed to beat yourself up. I watch my kids in school, and this is also a lesson to me. So I'm sure if you could have guessed, I was a straight A student. Oh, and that was so very important to me. To the exclusion of friends and a good time, and in college, I was so obsessed with getting A's that I actually had so many credits. I graduated in 3 years with 2 degrees. Doesn't make me smarter, just makes somebody who works really hard and didn't party a whole lot. Well, newsflash. The guy who graduates, or girl, last in medical school is still called a doctor. Yeah. See, I don't even know if I could have conceived this, but now I have 2 children. Sometimes they get A's, sometimes they get B's. I get upset if they get C's. But would it be okay if they got a B? I'll tell you what, in my world, no. And it wasn't my parents. It was my own head that said, no, you have to be the perfect A student. I made myself crazy. I watch my daughter. If she gets a B, it's okay. She's like, Mom, I had a great time. I went out with my friends, or I did this, or I have a life. And I begin to evaluate what being perfect means. In fact, here's another little tidbit I urge you to write down and stick on your refrigerator. Don't let the perfect ruin the good. Yeah. All right, so this is part of my tropical trim down. I'm just going to leave you with that one because, wow, don't let the perfect ruin the good. And good enough gets to be good enough. By the way, I think you're amazing. Just thought you might want to hear that. All right, go rock your day. Stay focused, stay on target, stay consistent, but be happy. Truly, truly find your happiness and enjoy it. I'll see you again.